President Ramaphosa was at the UN. In a clear rebuke to US policy, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has told the United Nations that trade is now being used as a weapon. His speech stood in stark contrast to the vision presented by President Donald Trump just hours earlier. Addressing the UN General Assembly, President Ramaphosa issued a sharp critique of recent global economic policies. He stated that geopolitical shocks and unprecedented trade policy volatility are destabilizing the global economy. He explicitly condemned, in quote, unilateral trade practices and economic coercion, a direct jab at the Trump administration, which imposed a 30% tariff on South African exports last month after a trade deal deadline passed. Ramaphosa's speech presented a diametrically opposed vision to Trump's, where Trump questioned the very purpose of the UN and called climate change a hoax. Ramaphosa called for upholding cooperation and solidarity between nations and promoting multilateralism. He described climate change as an existential threat and highlighted that Africa, while least responsible for it, bears the harshest effects, a sharp departure from Trump's dismissal of environmental efforts. The speech comes as South African officials are actively negotiating with the US to secure a trade agreement and remove punitive tariffs. The Minister of Trade, Pak Stawu, recently expressed optimism that a deal could be reached following meetings with US trade representatives. Ramaphosa positioned the African Continental Free Trade Area as the central pillar for the continent's economic future, signaling a turn towards intra-Africa cooperation in the face of volatile global trade relations. All of this while South Africa leads the G20 summit that Trump and his administration have continued to not pay attention to or give much respect, to be honest. The last time Trump had said he would not be attending the global G20 leaders summit at the end of this year, and the US is meant to lead the G20 next year. The outcome of the ongoing US-South Africa trade talks will. So what do you guys think about Ramaphosa talking about how trade is being used as a weapon and talking about the effects on climate change, specifically on Africa, who, bears the least responsibility, arguably, about where we are? What do you guys think about the African leaders that are going up in the UN and actually talking about the global order and the way that it's being used against certain places, especially the global south? Let me know what you think.